Hi, everyone. My name is Leah. Welcome to the team call today for Momentum Monday, and a call that our amazing Crown is going to lead. I've known this woman for oh, 14, actually 20 years, but we got deeper 14 years ago, and it's been such a blessing in my life to witness her growth and development as a leader, as a community pillar of light, really. And I just admire so much how whatever comes her way, whatever might create some sort of like ripple or be like something that could create any kind of conflict, that this woman just takes it on and says like, yes, this is part of my transformation, part of how I can be in greater service, part of how I can grow and like spread the light. And so I just admire that so much. And as you all get to experience and we all get to experience on the daily, I welcome Kristina to come and lead this call and share her light and share her power as a leader here, and how she has really created such a beautiful team and community. And we all see her rising. And I'm grateful to be here alongside you, Kristina, every step of the way.
Aw, thank you, Mama Leia. Thanks for that introduction. And I am also so happy to be on this path with you. You have also just so much of what you said is you too, just stepping into that uncomfortable, being willing to grow, being willing to do things that the mind told us we would never do, or that, we had limiting beliefs around, and really catching a larger vision and claiming a bigger why for yourself and your family, and being willing to go through the layers of becoming the person capable of having and achieving and living out that why. So I'm so honored to have you as a diamond on my team, and heading to green diamond this month, and your numbers are in the green and you're rocking it and super active, and I love you so much. So welcome everybody to today's call, and I'm going to actually go over a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the bulk of our call today. And this is around kind of how we see when we are bringing someone into what we have, whether we're introducing them into the Bliss Ohana business support page, or whether we're bringing them to a connect call with our upline. I love this metaphor of viewing it as though we are bringing someone to a party. And so when we bring someone to a party, we're going to like walk beside them and kind of hold them close to us. And it might be new and it might be uncomfortable for them. So we're going to also, really connect with that. And we're going to talk to them in the second person. And so I just want to like let that kind of sink in, is when you make a welcome post for somebody, or you bring them to a connect call, we're going to speak to them. We're going to say you. We're going to say, I am so excited to welcome you. I am so excited to bring you to this party. We don't like open the door and go like, hey, everyone, check out my friend over here. That can get a little uncomfortable, but we're like, hey, I'm so excited to bring you to this party. I'm going to walk you around. I'm going to introduce you to people. I'm going to show you what's going on in these different zones. And then when they're comfortable, that's when you kind of can like back off and, let them, go do their own thing. So it's a great metaphor for bringing people into this community. We want to walk alongside them as much as until we feel like they're like, yeah, all right, I'm grooving. Like I'm ready to go meet people on my own and do my own thing here. And then of course we'll come back and check in now and then. So when we welcome people into the group, we're going to say you. I am so happy to welcome you into this movement, into this community, onto this path with me. And when we bring people to connect calls, when we do those introductions, we're going to do the same thing. I am so happy to connect with you here. I am so happy to introduce you. And then we'll turn to the other person. I'm so happy to introduce you, rather than talk about them in the third person. So drop a 1 in the comments if you're feeling me on that. It's a subtle shift. And it might feel like nitpicky or something, but just kind of feel it. It has a different vibe to it. And you can kind of like, welcome that in. If you've been doing something different, you can just try it on, see how that feels. Yes, Tala's like, this is actually so important. Yeah. And the nitpicky side of me has been wanting to do this training for so long. I remember hearing it when I was new on a Zoom, and I was like, that makes so much sense. So I'm happy to bring that in. And then as far as like Connect calls etiquette, a couple of things that new people might not have ever heard or might not be duplicated. You're going to come on. Your main job is to do that introduction. It does not need to be an essay. It does not need to go on forever. You do not need to highlight every single thing you appreciate about the person, but just a couple of sentences. I would highlight one or two things you want to edify about them that you appreciate, and one or two things that are like things that they do for a living, or that they're a mom, or some sort of like title or something that would be particularly connect them with the other person on the call. Oh, you guys are both blah blah blah, you both surf, whatever it is, like something. But it doesn't need to be comprehensive, right? So drop a 2 if you're feeling me on that. Like, we can keep it brief. Remember, everything we do, other people are going to duplicate. So that's part of why like tightening up the etiquette can be really valuable because it's what's going to be passed on. So, but the edification is crucial. We definitely want to say something that's going to uplift each person, even if it's our upline, uplifting them, getting us all in that heart space, getting that place to where we're honoring ourselves and each other, and really, just feeling really good. So that's the first step of a Connect call. Second step, hit the mute button. You're pretty much done. There's a little bit at the end there, but you're not done. But that is an not to be overlooked detail of the Connect call. Hitting that mute button does a few things. One, it gives you an opportunity to drop into a listening place. You're going to be taking notes. This is the #1 training for doing this business. These training calls are amazing. And I will say Connect calls is where I have received my best training in this business. So we have to earn it, right? We can't just show up on a Connect call. We have to bring a prospect. We have to do our prospecting to get there. And then we actually receive this transmission that goes on. And the only way to receive that transmission is to silence ourselves, open our 2 ears, and take notes and really like let that sink in. So I highly advise against like multitasking. This is where doing Connect calls on Zoom can be really valuable. Phone when you have to, but Zoom is first choice, or video of some form. And then and then the other thing that's happening while you're being silent is you're witnessing and you're holding space for the magic to happen between your prospect or your downline if it's a coaching call and the upline. There's going to be an exchange of energy. There's going to be an exchange of heart and wisdom that happens in that one-on-one with the third party witness dynamic. That's very different than 3 people chatting, right? Drop a 3 if you're feeling that. Or if you, and especially if you've been there and experienced that, like there is a magic suddenly, and often the prospect or the downline doesn't know the upline. And something about that, like neutral, new stranger type energy, not stranger, but you know what I mean? Like unfamiliar person can often bring things out that person might not have even known about themselves. I mean, that was my experience. I was on my Connect call. I got asked my why. And suddenly I was saying things I did not even know were in there, let alone my good friend didn't even know. So that's the magic of a Connect call when it's done properly. And, this isn't about being like anal or, like proper or anything like that. It's about like, it's a formula. It's a code. It's like when you when you align all the parts of the code, you crack the code and the magic happens. And that, I've witnessed that, I've experienced that. So I have full belief in this formula and love just following it. So what happens if you're on that connect call and you're like, oh, but I have this thing, I have to add it, I have to insert it right here, drop a 4 if you've been there. You're like, I have to bring this in, it's so relevant. If you have something you want to contribute to the wisdom and the exchange that's going on, write it down. And at the end of the call, the upline will say, thank you so much for connecting us, and basically turn it back to you at that time. So you're the one who opened the call with the introductions, and you're also going to close it out. You're going to seal it. Your upline at that point, after there's like, thank you, might bow out, might say, great, I've got other things I've got to do. You two can connect and like do the enrollment process. And that's where you're going to contribute your thoughts that you were writing down as you were taking notes, witnessing. Maybe it's a clarification. Maybe it's, oh, based on what I heard you saying, you might want to add in this product or that product. Whatever it is, or hey, I just want to really feel you on that, wow, that was so beautiful and vulnerable that you opened up in that way. Like there's so many ways to follow up, and we call it backstitch with the person that you brought on. And it's done so beautifully when you hold it and save it for either the end of the call, or if it's like everybody has to go at that time, scheduling that backstitch, that follow-up call, and bringing all of your contributions at that point. Especially if you're like, I need a reason to follow up with somebody, like you have all those reasons, just save it for the follow-up. Yes, so Tala is adding, but don't talk too much after the call. Don't undo the work that your mentor just did. Your mentor might have led them to a place where they felt empowered to step into something that they previously weren't there at. And so rather than bring them down into doubt again, or losing belief, you want to like keep that magic and hold them and be like, great, let's take that next step. So it is a fine art. It's a beautiful space. People often come into this business saying like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. I can't even tell you how many people come in. I think everybody comes in saying, I'm not a salesperson. I am not a salesperson. I do not feel like I have ever done sales in almost 4 years of being in this business. I am a guide. I feel like a guide. I guide people through their journey of discovering what they're calling into their life and finding a solution in this movement. And that's it. Being a guide is a form of art. It takes study, it takes practice. It's magical and it's delightful. So, and that's something that I resonate with a lot more than being a salesperson. And we're going to get more into that on this call. Okay. Yeah, Tala's got great comments in there, and you'll see that this is, all the leaders are following this very basic formula. So success leaves clues. So follow the steps of the connect call. Okay, great. I might have missed some details on that, but I just wanted to bring a few of those things in so that we can all duplicate it to the greatest of our ability. Why? Because duplication brings the residual income that we're all here for if we have a why. So that's going to be the next step, is connecting with our why. And if you're brand new and you haven't done a why meditation, this is going to be a really great opportunity. If you're 4 years into this or more and you've already done this 100 times, it's always a great opportunity to reconnect and connect with our why, which is always evolving and always expanding and always changing. And I invite you, if you're like a globally philanthropically minded person, to really see how can your why become even more personal to you. And vice versa, if your why has always been about you, how can it expand to others that you can serve and support? So If you'd like to close your eyes, I won't go as long as last week. It was my first time leading one of these Monday calls. So, but we'll do a little why meditation. And so if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, I invite you to, and to really sink into that place of inner stillness and quiet where you can start to see a vision of yourself. And this is a future version of yourself. This is a version of you, maybe a year out, who has cultivated 100% financial sovereignty. Money is no object in this reality. All of your bills and expenses are taken care of. Any debt is cleared. You are free. You are free to dream, to create. You are living in your dream home or multiple homes. Where is it? Or where are they? What do they look like? Look around. What are the materials? What does it smell like? What is the view? What is the land around it growing? And from that place of zone 1, with your basic needs taken care of, any food that you would want to be feeding yourself and your family, any of the basic shelter, food, clothing, equipment, gear, any of that stuff that feeds your soul and your passion. Are there projects you are creating? Is there creativity that you're now able to express daily and be funded to explore on a next level, deeper way? Is there more education you're bringing in? Any self-healing modalities or practitioners that you're now able to afford? And what about family and friends that you can now help? Are there close or extended family and friends who could really use that financial abundance, your overflowing cup? And you can now reach out and maybe even set up a family member in a certain housing situation that you'd like to, maybe close to you. Maybe it's bringing in caregivers for elderly or children. And then what bigger community or global projects are you now able to finance? And what about travel? So let any specifics, let any details sink in. There's no limit. If you hear a voice saying, I'm not worthy of that, or that's too much to ask for, really take a look at that. Why? And so in that future version of yourself, and all the details you can see, now let that future version of yourself merge with the version of yourself sitting right here in this moment on Monday, in your chair or on the floor or walking around. Take a deep breath into that merging. Open your eyes. Here we are in this Zoom. And allow that why to burn inside you like a fire that's fueling your success. And then ask yourself, and I'd love to have everybody just start typing in the comments what visions came to you. What details, what specifics, what surprised you about this particular round? So start typing in the comments anything that came through in that vision for you. Awesome. Diving gear and swimming with sharks, travels abroad with children, more education, mountains, big amount of land building community. 2 homes, one by the Yuba, the other in Tulum. Dance space, time to write and relax. Having a motorhome to travel with the dogs. All right, they're coming in faster and faster, but check out some of these beautiful whys. To empower women of color in underserved communities. Investing in redlined communities in my city. Getting a massage, yes. Beautiful. There's so many incredible visions and dreams here, and we can inspire each other. And so this is the most important thing. This is the number one. If you're just getting started here, welcome. I want to welcome all the new people. And even if you aren't, this is the seed of our success. So this is our why. It's super powerful to connect with it every single day. It's powerful to connect with it when we first get started and write it out in the action plan and post it. Drop a 2 if you still have yet to post your action plan. I'd love to see who those people are, and let's cheer them on. You got this. It's so powerful to claim that vision in front of other people to get that accountability. All right, so we see some names in here, and I really, really welcome all of you to get that posted into the group. And so you have this vision now, you have this why. And if you could put a monthly amount, like if I was getting this much each month towards this vision, I would feel so relaxed in my body. I would just know without a shadow of a doubt that this is happening. And that's what it would take to make that significant impact towards this vision. And maybe that's in stages. Maybe there's like a initial, like, whew, I have a huge breath now that I know that I'm getting this amount. And then now we can take it to that next level of the bigger projects and the bigger developments. So $5,000 a month and then $10,000 a month is one of them. So everybody drop, what amount monthly would you need to be making in order to have this vision come to fruition? $30,000, $20,000, $10,000, 15, 7, 5, 5 to 8, 15, 6, and then 10. Okay. All right, 30,000, 5, 10, 20, 30. Okay, beautiful. And I said it last Monday's call, but I'll say it again. I remember being on the phone with Sarah when she was like, I am suddenly seeing the day when I'm making $100,000 a month. And I was like, holy moly, what are you going to do with that? And she was like, I'm going to buy up land and protect it from development. Like, yes, we need more conscious people as millionaires with access to the kind of resources that are going to make a significant impact on this planet and on humanity, and laws and lobbyists and resource management and on and on. One time somebody, I invite you guys to interview me on a Facebook Live sometime. You can reach out privately and interview me because I go off on my why. It does not stop. I could spend all the money in the world on how we could have such an epic planet if the money was really in the hands of people who knew how to do this. You know, just between like the money that it would take to change our healthcare system, clean energy for vehicles and power, and the way that resources are dispersed, right? I heard recently that if each household in the United States, if the wealth was distributed equally amongst all households in the United States, every single family would be getting $700,000 a year. That's what's possible if we get to that place of power, because money is power. And we have that impact when we can wield that. Okay. So these are great ways to start. If you've already done this much and you haven't posted your action plan, there's no reason not to get that up there. This is the bulk of it right there. There's a couple more details in there, but you got this. So then how do we take this amazing vision, with all these different layers and all these different expenses and this whole budget that we've now developed. We've created the vision, we've assigned a budget to it. How do we bring that to fruition? The system. We have this amazing, simple, streamlined, formulaic system of building residual income. It starts with your why and posting your action plan and going through the training modules on the partners site if you're brand new, and even if you're not, and if you want to like revive and relaunch. Those are the first steps. Using your tracker sheet every single day and posting it on Sunday. And using, and then leveraging like all the promotions, the UBT and the fast start. That's pretty much it, right? It's learning how to share your story, to go public, to get into conversations with people, to follow up, bring them to connect calls. That's pretty much it. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's the system. That's why these training calls, you're kind of hearing the same thing over and over, because we're just looping this stuff to really catch it and let it sink in, to build our belief to where our why and our belief is bigger than any fears, any resistance, any objection. And we can just like plow through our prospecting list, like unwavered by what anybody says or any judgments or any of that. We're just like, yeah, I got a why, I got my belief, and I'm doing this thing. And I'm continuing to do this thing. Maya, if you could mute yourself for some reason, it's not letting you. Maya Santos, thank you so much. If you're able to push your mute button. Yeah, I don't know what, there we go. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. It's happening. We are rising into this new earth. We are creating it. So with that, I want to bring on some people who are really using these tools and doing it. First, I'd like to bring on a beautiful mama, Alicia, who is recently came on, I don't know, you'll have to tell us, not too long ago, didn't jump right into Fast Start, but just recently got super activated, super into momentum, is running for Diamond this month, almost hit UBT, was like 99% away from UBT last week. And yeah, Mama Alicia, yep, you're here. I would love to have you come off mute and just share, how did you catch the vision of jumping in? I remember your initial connect call, you were like, oh, I might get activated in August, but here you are. What is a little bit of your why? How did you get motivated to jump into action? And how's the rest of your month looking?
Okay, hi. So my why, my daughter that's on here, Alexis, brought me into this beautiful opportunity that's ahead of us. And my why is to be with her and right now I feel like I'm stuck in Utah and I want to release that thing and that feeling of that, and I want to be able to go to Hawaii and show up there whatever I need to, and be here wherever I need to. So why is that? I'm never stuck anywhere. I can go anywhere. And I was really resistant at first, so I joined in May, started my first transformation, and it was one of those, like everybody probably like, I didn't think my body, anyone else. And so I did that, and the products are phenomenal and amazing, and they made me feel amazing. And so sharing the product became easier, but I truly I'm not tapped into growing the business and doing all the work that it takes to really get to that business. And this time I was just like, screw it, I want to share this, but not to do a business, but to share the gifts that this has already brought in my life and the possibilities that I am seeing every day open up because of this opportunity. What really helped me was the gifts you love to share with the world, and use this as a support system for you to share the other gifts of what it is you want to share in the world. And so I opened a course of things that I teach and said I'm encouraging everyone who would like to check out Purium and this transformation. So we're moving our body. I'm teaching the emotional, mental things it's so natural for me to talk about the gifts I already feel so plugged into and the gifts I want to share with the world. And so to me now, like support is even in love, and to go and share the gifts that I have been, you know, devoting my life to for the last 7 years that I want to share in the world. Imperium's what's going to give me that opportunity to go do that. So that's where I am. And I'm planning to hit director this month and just create more on all the ways I can imagine and opening up that possibility more and more. So I hope that answered all the questions.
Yeah, and you're running for Diamond, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Diamond. I think you've already passed director. And how many people did you enroll this month already?
So 4 customers and 2 brand partners.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
And I was really close to getting that 3rd brand partner, and it didn't happen, and that's okay. That's part of my learning and part of the milestones. So it's like, hey, plug a little more into these avenues. Kristina, you said it on call. If you have that tendency, like, let that tendency be about learning the things that already work. I want to do it my way. And you said that on a call, and I'm like, but they're already here supporting you. Look at the beauty that's here to support you and learn the ways that they've already found that work. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, so you were a little bit glitchy, but I think I got most of what you said. So really, Alicia, speaking to, you made the decision. You can go ahead and go on mute now. You made the decision to get activated. You caught the video. You're like, wait, I have this why. It's the why that makes me cry. Like, why am I holding back? All the tools are laid out. There's this opportunity. It's transforming lives. Doors are opening. And then catching the vision of using the system and using that duplication and not trying to do it our own way, but just following the steps that have already been laid out before it and just leveraging what's already here. So I see you in action. It's been amazing to watch that transition. So this is a mother-daughter team. They're both running for Diamond together this month, Alexis and Alicia, so we can all be cheering them on. And it's beautiful to see them. They're both leveraging the UBT. They're seeing the power of getting those 500 points each week and just jumping into action and being okay prospecting people no matter what people say, and just planting enough seeds, using the list, using the tracker sheet, and jumping in there and doing the thing. So congratulations on your success so far. And I'm excited to cheer you on and work with you the rest of the month. And thanks for sharing. And yeah, so we also have another couple here who, a husband and wife team who are working together. They might be running for Diamond too. These folks are actually on Sarah's team. Well, we're all on Sarah's team, but they're not on my team. So I'd love to bring on, is it Jennifer and Daniel? I actually forgot exactly the names. There you beauties are. And yeah, I'd love to just have you two share, you know, really like, how are you bringing in brand partners, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about like what it is that's bringing in your success and why you've embraced the UBT.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're just so grateful and happy to be here with you all. And it's amazing to be able to share in this way. And we know that it's part of the training that we're on. So we're super grateful for this opportunity. And, you know, our story is similar to Alicia's. We got started in May, and my wife's been incredible. She just, you know, went live, started sharing our why with people, and just really sharing about the business publicly, reaching out to people. But things actually didn't pick up for a while. You know, we were like, oh, we don't really know what's happening, but, you know, things weren't really moving along. We thought, you know, more was going to happen. We had a lot of excitement, and it took some time. And then at the end of June, Sarah actually texted us, and she's like, you know, this is your last chance for a fast start director, and you guys can totally do it.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, really? What do we have to do? And so she, you know, she gave us a couple of tips, and we literally just got on our phones, started making phone calls, and all of the work that we had been doing came to fruition. You know, all of the seeds that we planted came to fruition. And like you said, we leveraged all of this. We leveraged the systems. We leveraged the group cleanse to say, hey, this is your last chance to order your cleanse. I'm a plant-based chef, so I offered consultations. So that was another way to connect with people. And, you know, little by little, it's like people started sprouting up and they wanted to know what we were doing. And we just were having really awesome conversations with people. And yeah.
Just like also we really have like a deep spiritual practice too, where we're meditating every night together and setting our intention. And I really feel like that has this is our little one. Hi. I really feel like that really helped a lot, especially towards the end. And when Sarah called us and we were like, let's do the UBT, let's just go for it, we can do it. And actually a lot of our friends that we planted the seeds with before came to us. So we were doing like 3 things. We were planting seeds, we were creating curiosity, so people were actually reaching out to us, and 3, just being really genuine and opening up from the heart. Dan's a vegan chef, so he was offering like consultations, like free, health consultations and all of that. So I feel like just all of these things, like just being your genuine self and just really speaking from the heart, because these products have transformed our life. Like we're just in the beginning of it. We're just learning and we're excited. And like I just feel like the magnetism that's coming from our experience is drawing people in. So I feel like not saying too much, actually just saying very little, and just creating curiosity and having authentic connections with people is what's really bringing people in. And setting our intention for the UBTs and just remembering our why, how we want to get out of New York City and we want to be in Hawaii, and we want to have a garden. We want our kids to grow up with nature, and just never forgetting that why. And
and having it be stronger than all of the doubts and all of the fear and everything. Just because that's so strong, it just spurs us into action continuously.
So we're really grateful to be here, and thank you for having us share.
Thank you, Beauty, so much. That was really powerful. There's a lot of love in the comments, and just drop a 6 if you've been feeling these shares, if it's bringing up like, oh, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. That is totally helping motivate me to do the thing, to get into action, to let my why grow bigger than the fears, the blocks, the resistances, the objection, right? That concept right there is almost all you need to know. Just keep letting the why push the other stuff out, because it's so big and burning so brightly. So that's a theme I'm hearing from both of the shares so far. So thank you both. And the next speaker I'd love to bring on is from our introducer from the beginning of the call, Leah Borowski, who is one of my solid diamond legs running for Green Diamond this month. A mama, a wife, definitely a visionary of creating positive planetary change and community change. And Leah, like so many people coming into this business, started by leading with the product. Drop a 7 if that was you or is you, that your comfort zone is leading with the product. This is often the case with healthcare practitioners. Leah is also a practitioner of Chinese medicine and other healing modalities, and has a huge client base, and that has been her primary income. So that is really common, even of all kinds of people, to be in comfort. And I will preface this, that the rest of the call, the remaining 20 minutes here, we're really going to we've been hearing it throughout the call. This is all about how to lead with the business and why leading with the business is so valuable. So Leah actually asked me to train on this topic. And so it's so perfect that you're going to share now, because Leah made a transition at some point, and I would say is probably still in transition, of making that decision to get comfortable, to learn how to, and to get comfortable with leading with the business, and then start putting that into practice. And sure enough, her business is totally transforming. Like I said, she's way in the green. She's heading to green, even though she hit diamond for the first time last September, I believe. This is the first time she's actively running for green diamond. So thanks for being on here, Mama. Tell us a little bit about how you caught the vision to make that shift and what that's been like for you.
Thanks, Kristina. Yeah. So yes, it's definitely, I'm still in transition. And honestly, this time of these past months of my main work and also my husband's work kind of disappearing all of a sudden with the shelter in place and seeing so many people impacted, I really got for the first time on a deeper level, like how important and essential it is for people to be financially supported, to be healthy and relaxed and feel at ease in life. And I've always been very like health and wellness focused, and at this time, and also just doing work with myself of looking at my own what comes up for me around money and even privilege, and the places where I've been like, there are so many people who need more money than me. I actually, like, I'm starting to and have been seeing like, oh, well, that's what Purium is the vehicle for, is for helping other people who even need it more than I do. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, we don't have that stability that we've had. And so many people are like, suddenly the work that they've relied upon for many, many years. My husband's career as a photographer, event photographer for 20 years, is like, who knows if that's going to happen again. And with things falling out is like, wow, what Purium has and what we can offer as a home-based income stream for families, for people who have been doing hands-on healing or anything where they need to be in person with people. We're serving such a huge purpose. And so for me, as someone who's been very purpose oriented in my life of wanting to serve others, it's been like, it suddenly has like clicked about how much this is of service. And also the bigger piece is like, I really feel committed to how important and essential it is for us to transform the economic system of what's happening in this corporate culture. And like, it's been with me for a while, like, wow, it's so wild how much people trust buying from Whole Foods or Amazon, but don't trust buying from people who they know, and like how deeply woven the economic structure is, and how the Black Lives Matter collective uprising even brought that into another deeper level of like, the systems that have existed are not serving people or the planet. And so it's been on both the very personal level and a community level and even a global level of like what Purium serves that feels so like powerful as a transformative tool for on all of those levels. And so that's been inspiring me to shift how I'm sharing and what I'm impassioned by. I'm still impassioned by health, and I'm like, wow, there's this whole other piece that's like super under the radar kind of, but so actually alive in every interaction that we have, like on so many levels throughout every day. And what systems are we creating together? What systems are we creating for ourselves that are sustainable on every level and that serve people and the planet? And so, yeah, that's what's been inspiring me to shift and transition. And really grateful that Purium like sees all of this on every level, sees the health, the food, the economics, the social and racial, all of these systems, and how it's like this incredible vehicle for all of it, for whatever it is. And that's something I've definitely like seen Kristina do and has been an inspiration. It's like, it all can happen through this. And what a beautiful, not that it's the only way, but it's a powerful way that encompasses it all. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you. And so you guys can see her belief in leading with the business and the gift that this business has for so many people right now. You can feel her belief, right? Like, drop a 9 if you can feel that, like, oh yeah, she's embodying the belief that this is a super powerful gift and really relevant in these times and very unique. You know, yes, there are other ways. I have yet to find something more powerful. You know, I'm always telling people, like, if you find something better, let me know. I have not in over 3.5 years found something more effective, more joyful, more in alignment with my values, et cetera, et cetera. So you can feel Leia's belief. And Leia, if you have another minute, I would love to hear if you could give us, like, what was a conversation you were more likely to have with somebody before this, embracing leading with the business, and what does a conversation sound like that you're having now? To just give us a little bit of languaging.
Okay. Well, I guess before the questions I was asking were a lot more about what's happening with someone's health, and really speaking to my passion, sharing about my passion around detoxification and healing the gut microbiome, which I still speak to, and nutrition, and how miraculous our bodies are, that they can heal and transform when we're cleared out of what doesn't do well, what we don't need, and given what we do need. And a lot of the questions I had for people was like, what are you doing? How are you serving yourself nutritionally, and what's happening on that physical health level and emotional. And so it was very like personally focused in the health realm. And now it's more like, what's happening, how has this time impacted your family and your income and your work, and hearing that from people, and really just getting to know what's going on for people. And then asking if there's like an openness to looking at a pathway to create home-based business. Like, what are they dreaming of in their bigger life? Like, I'm focusing more on the dream now for their life, and before it was more about the specific kind of like health. And also there are a lot of people, I think, looking for a way to be part of this movement that's happening. So I guess the conversations are like, asking more of what they're looking for in general. Like, what is the dream they have for their life or for the planet? And before it was much more health focused.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that. Yeah. So exactly. So Leia, what Leia is speaking to is that leading with the business and leading with the product, both of them are asking questions. If we want to ask people, like, how, if you woke up tomorrow in perfect health, what would be different than it is today? That's finding out, like, what are they calling into their life? What do they want? How do they want to feel better? And then we can talk about the transformation and the products and all of that. Same thing, if we want to lead with the business, we're going to be asking, what are you dreaming of? How are you feeling about the time that you are spending? And is it the way that you want to be spending your time? If money were no object, what would your life look like, right? The classic why question. We're basically asking questions to help people identify their why. And that's when when somebody has identified that they're looking for, well, yeah, I do want to have more time with my family. Yeah, I do wish I wasn't struggling so much financially just to get by. I wish I had more time for my art. I wish I could do music without having to use it to pay the bills. I wish I could just do healing for the sake of healing instead of paying the bills, et cetera, et cetera. When you can help people start to notice that they're calling in something that is different than how their life is now, then we have an opening in the conversation to be able to say, I might have found a solution that could be exactly what you're looking for. Would you be open to checking out this link and seeing if it's a match for you, seeing if it resonates, seeing if it's in alignment with what you're calling in? Some of those same questions. So thank you so much, Leia. That was perfect. And thank you for encouraging me to train on this topic today. It's always edgy to lead calls, no matter how much you see the leaders get up here and look like, oh, it's just no big thing, just roll out of bed and lead a call. I think we all do. I think I can speak for all of us, even if right now in this moment, I'm comfortable, but what it took for me to get here this morning was not so comfortable. That was the deeper work. And anybody who wants to know what I have to go through to lead a call, I pretty much have to do booty yoga or some kind of something to move energy on a really fast, efficient level to get to that place where in my body, I feel so comfortable that I can just open up and know that, and I take my notes, I get organized. So, and my upline mentor is amazing and supports me. So here we are training on this. And what I wanted to do, because honestly, I'm going to read to you. So I've built my entire business leading with the business. This has actually been my comfort zone. Not necessarily comfort zone, like it's been what I've focused on. Because it's still edgy to talk about money, to talk about business. Yet for me, I've preferred it because I don't feel salesy and I'm not a healthcare practitioner. I didn't come from a background of I was already recommending products or I was already recommending cleanses or anything. I just came, well, I'm going to read to you. This is a post that I made in my first week of the business. So at that time, and this is actually going to be your homework, concluding this call, is I'm going to give this the same assignment. When I came into this business, Sarah had just opened up this new prospecting group that we're not really using anymore. But maybe we will again. And she gave an assignment to every single one of us in Bliss Ohana to post our shift to wealth story. So this was our business story. So drop an 8 in the comments if you have posted a business forward story. And if you're brand new, remind you, I'm posting my shift to wealth story in my first week of the business. So no, I had not shifted to wealth bank account wise, but you're going to hear, what does that look like? What does a brand new shift to wealth story look like? Yes, what does that look like? I'm going to share with you. And so my assignment is that everybody here can post and then drop a 9 if you have not posted a shift to wealth story or a business forward story or a, wealth story or, your why. Basically, it's your why. The answer to how to lead with a business is share your why, ask other people their why, period. That's the end of the whole training, but I will elaborate. So here it is. Aloha, I'm Kristina, loving wife to my best friend, husband, and mother to 2 beautiful boys. We embarked on a strong vision over a decade ago to cultivate a sustainable farm community homestead on Hawaii Island. Throughout the journey, we kept coming up against walls of not having the money to develop our amazing visions with enough speed, especially when we started having children. Then we got involved in opening up a neighborhood grocery and cafe, which services people for miles in either direction of our rural coastline, as well as tourists. My husband works often 14-hour days, 6 days per week, and isn't even bringing home half of a living wage. I'm home with 2 kids, unschooling and running my own Airbnb business, trying to keep the farm alive and everybody's needs met by myself. We have spread ourselves so thin and become so depleted, not knowing if we had enough money to properly nourish ourselves each week. Oh, I'm getting teary. Let alone buying friends or ourselves presents or getting ahead or having time for leisure or even rest. We lost so much joy in our home with our kids, hardly had any time for them, and watched the farm become overgrown as hope for our dreams dissolved. When I saw no light in any other direction, I finally took the plunge with Purium and bought the double transformation launch pack. It was $1,000 back then, for me and my husband on credit. The shift began before the package arrived in the way I felt, committing to something so profound as my family's health and our life dreams infused me with a confidence that floated me up above my struggle instantly. I told a friend the next day and she immediately said she wanted to do it too. That led me to making stronger connections with everyone I knew and met. I started shining again and my heart was opening and everything became fun. Now I have friends calling me every day to get connected with this blessing I finally said yes to. It is a relief to be supported in being our authentic selves and rising together. You are witnessing the beginning of a transformation that will bring my family out of our hole so we can fulfill our missions here on earth to help others out of their holes for us all to thrive. One day, thanks to Purium and residual income and the good karma of choosing and spreading health, you will be able to set foot onto lush Kihalani Gardens, Ohana Village, where remineralized soils burst forth a cornucopia of organic fruits and vegetables, where children run free and healthy, where all of us share in the arts and adventures of our dreams. Who knows where we may go from there? Okay. So that was my story before I had a single paycheck with Purium. And I posted that on my wall too. That was me saying, this is what I'm doing it for. This is my why, my vision. I'm committed to it. I'm not letting any doubts or anything else be in the way because I know where I'm going. And yeah, we have residual income and we have a budget that we're developing the farm with right now. It's still a lifetime project, but it's happening. We turn
Can
that.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you reposted that story on your wall with, first of all, thank you, Kristina. Absolutely incredible to hear that. And what a potent example of how you can tell your business story as a vision of what you are creating and enroll people in that vision. So thank you for sharing, and just thank you for letting me jump in. I just want to ask you, have you shared, or are you thinking of sharing that story to your wall with an update of progress of where you're at now?
I actually did. About 2 weeks after I hit Crown, I was like, okay, it's time to let folks know that it had happened, you know, that this is the first time that I have literally the farm budget is like a put away and savings, and we're just figuring out where and how we want to spend it, like what structures first. Greenhouse, well, we already know, but it's going to be the house and then the greenhouse and all that. So yeah, and what I did is I posted photos of what we looked like back in the day. Rootsy, so hippied out, you know, just barefoot, nothing but like our baby on hand and like a pitchfork in the other hand. Like that was our life. Like I remember Leah, she was talking about knowing me 14 years ago and coming and living on the farm. And she was like, you guys should like make a movie about your life. And I was like, really? Are we interesting? Like I couldn't see the bigger vision. And of course now, like I was happy just being comfortable, like staying in my little bubble. And now that Purium's encouraged me to learn how to express myself and get out there in the mix and not just be a little garden hermit, I'm like, yeah, this is a super amazing story. Holy cow. First of all, I know people are trying to make permaculture farms all over the world. And yes, the government should be subsidizing them to the T the way they're subsidizing corporate farming, but no, of course they're not. And here's a story of success of how we can do it anyway. Here's a loophole in the economic structure that gives people hope and tools and a way to fund all of these things. So yes, and you guys can go back and look at that post. It was probably 2 months ago, I guess, that I made that post, that follow up. But yeah, like how many of you have come, thank you, Tala. I'm super happy you stepped in and support where this is going, because this is all about, if you are sitting on this call being like, I haven't posted a business story because how do I post a business story if I'm brand new? I don't have my success story yet. That's how you post your why. And that's what leading with the business is. So we are here at the top of the hour. I'll just read the rest of my notes because I think you got the gist of it here. But you know, here's one more key point, which is the biggest reason to lead with a business is because that's what your people will duplicate. If your why is something that you are so committed to that you will post bikini shots of yourself and you will get on phone calls and prospect and go Facebook Live and all these things that are uncomfortable, then what you're doing it for is that residual income so you can fund your why. If you're going to do all that stuff, then you want to hit that residual income as quickly as possible. You want to bring in brand partners. You want them to duplicate leading with the business. So that's, you know, if you bring people in with the product and then you try to like switch lanes and have that conversation like, oh, by the way, there's also this business, and like, oh my God, are they going to run away now that they know it's an MLM? And like trying to get people to switch lanes, it's harder. It can get into that kind of awkward conversation. Whereas for me, I feel like it's so much easier to be assertive and clear and business forward right from the get-go. If people aren't into it, fine, move on, plant more seeds with more people, open more business forward conversations, no problem. But if people are open to it, then I'm like, yes, this is the kind of person I want to work with. We're entrepreneurial minded, we're business minded, we're looking for streams of income, we're looking for leverage, we're looking for opportunities to build wealth. We have strong whys. These are the kind of people that I look for when I'm prospecting, and I duplicate having that conversation, and then they're going to do the same thing. So that is one of the biggest reasons to lead with the business. It's also our their greatest product. You know, we have, try to mute people here. We have all of these amazing products, and they are amazing products. And for me personally, the business has transformed my life, even my health, potentially more than the products, at least combined with. And so really think about how many people's, if you're going to go try to talk to them about a cleanse and they're like, oh my God, that's so expensive, I can't even think about that right now, I'm so swamped in my life, how much of their health is actually more significantly impacted by the fact that they can't even like pay the bills or like get up for a breath of air between all the different like hustles and demands on their life. And where the business, I mean, you heard in my story, just the fact that I made the decision gave me hope. Like I suddenly like, I saw like the light at the end of the tunnel of my current struggle. That is huge when you bring that gift to people's life. So there's so many reasons to lead with a business. I mean, last one I had made a comment on here, and then I'll wrap it up. This is my last comment. One of my favorite reasons to lead with a business, and that my favorite things about this business, is that we get to dive deep into the money wound and transition scarcity mentality into abundance mentality, personally and as a collective. And I feel like this is so important. And I will just say, I saw the shift. You know, I have a sister-in-law in town right now. She was in town a year ago. And as we're like taking kids on adventures and navigating all this stuff with money, the way that I watched myself in this relationship with her compared to a year ago, I'm like, oh, I'm not in scarcity mentality anymore. I mean, not to say I'm not entirely. It's so deep. But I could see like a very distinct shift by being resourced and how I then interact with people and make decisions, and even the lens I'm looking through the world with. So why is this so important on like a bigger level? And I'm just going to bring it back to some of the other work I'm doing right now, which is breaking down white supremacy, white privilege, white silence, all of these things that I'm doing personally and in a group with a lot of us here. One of the big asks in this work is, and one of the reasons why seemingly good white people might still be clinging on to some of these things, is the concept of what do we have to let go of, and what is the world going to look like? What is it going to change into if we really dismantle racism? And I tuned into that if we are stuck in scarcity mentality, if we are coming from a place that we do not trust in abundance and enough for everybody, that is where we can cling to very deeply subconsciously upholding a systemic racism because of the way that we're benefited from it. Obviously, I'm speaking to and about white people here. But as a collective here, we have the opportunity to completely heal scarcity mentality and step into abundance so that we can be willing to truly do all the work and live and embody equality for all humans, which means that we are okay giving up whatever has been because there is truly enough. We know that there is enough. And to like know that on such a core level, it's deep work. And that's really what we're doing here when we're leading with the business, having these money forward conversations and embodying our why and stepping into the worthiness of having those. So it is both personal and it is global and it is radical activism and it is a commitment to do this for all the layers. And thank you for being on this call. Thank you for letting it run over. And thank you to everybody who shared and everybody who's out there doing the work. So your homework is to go create your shift to wealth story on social media, whether it's a live or a post or a series of stories. Tag your upline if you want to and share it into our business support group. You know, you can share it into there. People will see it and go give it some more love and comments, and we can inspire each other on how do we post and share about our why. What does that look like? All right, have a beautiful week, you guys. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kristina.
Great call. Thanks, Kristina.
Thank you, Tala.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristina.
Thank you. Mahalo. We'll talk with you soon.
Yay.